So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the failure of the British government to secure deals in order to protect the fishing industry. The fishing industry, which was such a key part of Brexit. Such a cultural thing. We're an island. We're surrounded by water, and what's in the water? Fish. And so, what does that mean? We want our fish back, even though we don't eat a lot of fish. We prefer beef, and we like starting beef with other people, and we like chicken, and we like lamb, but we like fish, but not as much as the other three. You get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? And this video has been derailed within 2 minutes of me being an idiot. But let's crack on with the video. So the deal signed by Boris Johnson with the EU fishing after Brexit fell short of industry expectations, the Environment Secretary has admitted. So this is the government admitting failure over fishing over Brexit when it comes to fishing. So speaking at a House of Lords committee on Wednesday, George Eustace told peers, "It's fair to say that we didn't get everything we wanted on fishing, but we hold all the cards, man. We're like Yu-Gi-Oh, bruv. We've got the Dark Magician, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Stardust Dragon, we've got Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, we've got Monster Reborn, we've got all the good cards, all the trademark cards. How are we losing this? How has this happened, George Eustace? How have you failed the nation?" So Boris Johnson previously hailed his fishing agreement as a success, but fishermen accused the Prime Minister, of sacrificing them in trade talks and have totally capitulated. They attribute the fishermen to summon patriotic monster demon thing. To get a final agreement, compromises were made, said George Eustace. He told peers that he argued that the deal was a significant step forwards. Forwards for who? For EU fishermen and EU fish processors, because they're the ones who benefited from this. Like, come on, bro. We've covered a story in the past where Scottish fishermen are going to Denmark to fish because they can process the fish quicker there without all the checks and stuff like that. And so what you have is basically the British fishing quota being used to help out Denmark, because now Denmark can get access to more fish from Britain and not go into their quota. That's what's happened here. So, the argument that they're using is this deal is better than no deal, which is true, but it is worse than the setup we had before. Fishing is a very small part of the British economy, but it is important symbolically for Brexiteers because that's all they had. In the end, who claimed leaving the EU would help Britain regain control of its waters from the common fisheries policy, but it hasn't. And even if it did, we don't eat all the fish that we get here. We only eat certain kinds of fish, and so what that means is you either export those fish and you make some money off them, or you put them back in the water, or they just rot because no one wants them. But since the transition period ended, fishermen have reported little benefit and many have instead complained they are unable to export their catches to Europe. Maybe they didn't believe hard enough. Because of the new bureaucracy created by Brexit, the Environment Secretary told peers, "I don't think anyone in the fishing industry believed that we would immediately exclude access for all EU vessels." I mean, you did say we're taking control back of our waters, right? What does that mean? We are in charge. That means we can exclude EU vessels. That's what a lot of people thought. We're taking back control. When you take back control of something, what does that envision in your mind? That we are in control of this. This is ours now. So, this argument that they're making here is just ludicrous. It's also the case that we knew we wouldn't get where we wanted to end up with zonal attachment, and instead what you needed to aim for was year-on-year gains, which we've gotten. But if we start taking back the fishing quotas, what's going to happen is that the EU can start putting tariffs on our goods. So it is the case that we argued with the EU there should be larger year-on-year gains in that period. Of course, that was our publicly stated position and what we argued for right through to the end of negotiations which you got pwned in, fam. You got absolutely hammered. It is the case that we had not intended to grant the EU access in the 6 to 12 mile zone of UK shores, but in the end they were granted access in some areas of the 6 to 12, but not all. I think the reality is this is important, significant step in the right direction where there is significant uplift in shares as a quid pro quo around gaining access to the European Union. But bruv, you said we hold all the cards. Why are we doing this quid pro quo? We held all the cards. So why are we doing this? Why are we doing this this deal? Why are we making compromises? We hold all the cards, fam. So while I appreciate it's probably short of what the industry would have hoped for in terms of in terms of a sharing agreement after 5 years, it nevertheless represents a big step in the right direction. For who? For who, George Eustace? Because these industries are struggling now. We go to the main article here, which is EU shellfish import ban will be indefinite. UK fishing industry told. So basically, the UK cannot sell these types of fish into the EU, and we've got mussels. So only these fish caught in certain areas can be exported to the EU without purification. Which the longer this stuff takes, the less fresh it is, and therefore the less valuable it is. So the EU has told British fishermen they are indefinitely banned from selling live mussels, oysters, clams, cockles, and scallops to its member states. These things are not popular within the UK, hence why they are exported. This is not hard to figure out, George, mate. As the UK is now a separate country, it is not allowed to transport the animals to the EU unless they have been treated in purification plants. But the industry says it does not have enough tanks and the process can slow exports, making them less viable. Maybe you guys need to believe in the plants that we have. The government promised to continue to raise the issue with the EU, and the only way the EU are going to accept these fish is if we make compromises elsewhere. But again, so much for holding all the cards, right? Since the 1st of January, the UK firms have been able to send only pre-purified, ready-to-eat shellfish, accompanied by an export health certificate to buyers in the EU's 27 member states. Until this year, they could be purified with contaminants removed in clean seawater tanks after they reached their destination. UK shellfish catches were valued at £393 million. But the thing is, in terms of that's worth to the economy, it's not a lot, but what it's worth to local economies is huge. If you think about these towns, some of these towns are based around fishing, and so what that means is if this main industry goes down in that town's had it, because there's no money in that town anymore. It becomes a ghost town, and a lot of those people will move, especially young people, in order to look for opportunities, and you've lost people there. That's why these small industries are so important to local towns and cities. Sorry, small towns and villages. But that's something the British government fails to understand repeatedly. And if the British government does not fund these, does not give subsidies to these fishing these fishing people, businesses, purification places, then what you're going to do is cause more unemployment and more problems long term. So the UK government has previously said the restrictions on imports of bivalve mollusks, I have no idea how to pronounce that, such as mussels, clams, cockles, scallops, and oysters, would end on the 21st of April. But it's not the 21st of April though. So I don't understand. This was because Brussels was expected to change its rules on that date to allow unpurified shellfish in from non-member states, but it emerged as first reported by Politics Home that the European Commission wrote to the UK companies on the 13th and 19th of January to tell them that the current arrangement would be in place indefinitely. So I don't know if it's the EU that have changed their mind here, or if it's the British government lying. I would go with the British government lying, but that's just me. Very frustrated. This has increased fears that for the future businesses and staff, amid concerns that purified shellfish would go off quicker than unpurified ones, making them harder to transport. The issue with shellfish is that they are highly perishable, so there are many risks associated with delays. Barry Diaz, chief executive of the National Federation of Fishermen Organisations, told the BBC there are a lot of these national federations. We are really in a high risk category compared with other kinds of exports, he added. Nothing has changed in terms of the EU rules, but firms who had thought they were going to who had thought they were going to were feeling very frustrated. So basically, if you thought we weren't going to be a third country, sorry. So a Department for Environment, so DEFRA, spokesperson said, we will continue to raise the issue for alive bivalve mollusks, I don't know how to pronounce that word, not ready for human consumption with the EU to ensure trade can continue securely. Ministers would reach the appropriate solution, they added. And so another stock answer from a government that's failed fishermen who voted for Brexit, which you can argue was a stupid thing for them to do, but given what they were promised and given how little the profits are from the fishing industry, they gambled and they lost. So do I have some sympathy for them? Yes. But the ones who voted Tory in the last election, do I have sympathy for them? No, because this was as a result of the Conservative Party winning. We could have stayed in the single market. We could have stayed in the customs union. We could have had a deal over fishing, but we chose not to. These were choices made by the Conservative government. So I don't have a lot of sympathy with them if they voted Conservative. So yeah, I don't know what more to say apart from let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.